Hey guys, I know it's been a long time since my last video, so I wanted to catch up and say hello and share the gear and share some fun stories and little tidbits. Thanks to everyone who's part of the community, the Groom Noodlers community, and everyone who's chiming in on YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that. I love talking to people about gear. You know, that's the thing. I don't think people really realize that, but you know, when people share the same passion, it's fun to share that, right? People get excited about things and it gets you excited, and then that's what creates all this crazy gas, right? So I really enjoy talking to people about gear. If anyone ever questioned why I'm doing this, that's why I'm doing it. So in that light, let me just share what's going on. I'm not a super geek in terms of like, I know every radius of every neck I play. I don't know any of that stuff, to be honest. I don't get bogged down too much in that. I can tell you if a neck's skinny or bigger or whatever, but I'm not gonna be able to tell you measurements and stuff like that. So that's why we have Google, right? Anyway, so let me get you started. So I started this crazy PC1, well, actually this crazy Collen Jackson collection, you know, and I gotta be honest, like back in the day, I would have considered like a PC1 a novelty, you know, kind of like a fanboy novelty. Like, oh, I have a PC1 and I can play Def Leppard songs on it. But I started to spend more time with the Splatter, and I was like, wow, these guitars are awesome. Like, you know, I should play them more often. So when I started to enjoy them more, like I actually started playing them, that's when I started to get more of them. Because as much as I like to collect cool fanboy things, I do play my guitars. So if I don't like a guitar, I'm not gonna buy a million of them. Like I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, but like Wolfgangs, right? I keep buying them. I just can't play them, so I sell them. I mean, I love Eddie Van Halen, but I just can't play those guitars. It's just a weird thing with me. So I really do enjoy these guitars. So from right to left, there's the Adrenalize Dan Lawrence. That has a reverse headstock dinky neck, so it's a super thin neck. It's not like a standard PC1 neck. And I had one of those in chrome, which had a PC1 neck, and I sold it back in the day. I always regretted it. Anyway, so the guy who sold it to me is a member of our forum, and I really do appreciate that he was willing to let it go. Of course, I gave him a really cool sir, but that's a different issue. So this is the PC1 Shred. I'm super psyched to find this one. I remember when Matt's Music had it for sale, and I passed on it, and that was when I wasn't really taking PC1 seriously as an instrument. And the irony of this whole situation is that this is the exact PC1 Shred that Matt's Music had on for sale. So it kind of like a boomerang, it kind of came back to me. And once again, a guy who's now part of our forum sold it to me, and he was very cool about it. And I ended up going full Collen and swapping out for the white pickups. Purely aesthetic, but super awesome. I would say the PC1 Shred is the best playing PC1 I have in terms of, you know, playability and just feel. It's just an awesome guitar. I love it. Splatter. Splatter's kind of cool because the Splatters came out when Leopard was like not as popular, like when they were going through like a little bit of a down phase. And I mean that because I follow the band, and they had like the Covers album for a bit, and they had Sparkle Lounge, and I feel like this new album is a kind of like a return to form for them, and they're playing bigger places again. I mean, they played the arena here in New York, and the crowd was huge, and I'm like, wow, this is them kind of coming back full speed ahead, right? So I got the Splatter when like no one cared, and now everyone's like trying to find them. And it was on the Porn Stars thing. By the way, I got tagged in that Porn Stars video like 3,000 times. So everyone should know I have seen that episode. Splatter is awesome. I think the Splatter has a beefier neck than the Shred. Definitely has a beefier neck than the Shred. Okay. What else? Okay, so this. I'm going to say, of all my guitars, of everything I've ever acquired or found, this makes me the most happiest, the Union Jack. This thing just gives me the warm fuzzies. I just love it. It just makes me so happy. This is a cool story. I don't know. I mean, I basically stumbled upon it. Got very lucky because this was an order that was 3 years in the making, and the timing just worked for me. And basically, I stumbled upon it, and I shot on site, and I'm really happy I got it. It's super awesome. Oh, so just differences, right? The maple versus the ebony. So it's true what they say. Maple is really bright. When I play the Union Jack, I take the treble down like significantly versus the ebony. And the ebony definitely has like a darker vibe to it, for sure. So there's definitely tonal differences between them. I mean, I can't say which one's better, but I think the classic, I don't know. I don't know what I like better, but they're both awesome. But they definitely do sound different. So when you're dealing with the PC ones, you know, there's definitely different neck profiles and definitely different fingerboard woods and stuff like that. All right. So this is the guitar that I just got. It's the Kelly from 2014. They were NAMM exclusive, and they made 10 of them. And it's funny because like I really desperately wanted an Extroyer, but I got to say this thing kind of looks more like the Ibanez Destroyer than the Extroyer does. I know that Phil has a normal headstock. He doesn't have the reverse headstock, and he also has a sustainer. So when I first got this guitar, you guys saw the video I posted. I was a little confused about the pickup configuration, but I spoke to my buddy Sal, and we figured it out. So basically, what I arrived at was that I always basically I don't like the middle pickup. It just doesn't sound right with these pickups engaged. So if you keep the middle volume off, then what you get is you get bridge, and then you get the second position is bridge and neck, and then you get neck. And that sounds awesome. And if you want to go in the middle position and bring this up, you get this very like thick, kind of warm tone. But that's not what I go for. Definitely, this neck is super thin. Look how this shred neck. Look at this thing. Wow. You can see how thin it gets up there. This guitar is awesome. Definitely takes a little bit of getting used to, because you know where your arm would rest over a Super Strat, you got this big piece of wood, so you have to have like good posture, I guess. But it's an awesome guitar. It sounds really good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm adjusting to it. All right, next in the PC1 area. So I fell in love with this guitar at NAMM. These are like the satin PC1s, and this does sound significantly different because it has the roasted neck, and it's a really comfortable neck. It's a really comfortable shape. It doesn't feel that big. It's not a very chunky neck. I mean, I don't know. Everyone's got different definitions of what chunky is, but this is a super comfortable guitar. And remember I said how like this guitar is so bright that like it can get shrill, like you have to turn down the presence. This guitar is much warmer, much more pleasant tone, not as shrill. You know, Phil had said it's, you know, it sounds more like a vintage guitar. But yeah, it's definitely warm. I mean, you could have like a traditional PC1 with like the unroasted neck, and you can have the one with the roasted neck, and they're gonna feel like two different guitars, and they're gonna sound like two different guitars. So if you wanna collect, but you don't wanna have the same guitar, you'd be in good shape. All right. Les Pauls. So everyone knows that No Rest for the Wicked, No More Tears are like the bedrock of like, it's everything I like about guitar. It's funny, it's like EMGs and stuff like that. But if you take like Red Beach and you take Zakk Wylde, those are like what I hear. And that's why I play with too much gain, because I'm always hearing No Rest for the Wicked in my head. So I apologize, but I always, even though I'm playing guitars with passive pickups and I'm playing amps with less gain, I'm hearing like quadruple tracked, you know, Zakk. So it's like a real issue I have, but you know, that's where that's from. So if everyone's like, oh, you play with too much gain, that's pretty much my issue, right? But anyway, so I got this Bullseye from Paul. Thanks, Paul. I'm worried that one day he's gonna come back and tell me he wants it back, so I'm gonna avoid him for as long as I can. Okay, so this is a great story. So this is the JP59 Joe Perry Les Paul that they made like 130 of, and I had a milestone birthday coming up, and I was getting all super sentimental, and I wanted to get something that was really special, and I like settled on the fact that it was this guitar. So I found it on eBay for like an exorbitant amount of money, but then I realized that the guy also had it on Craigslist in LA. I was like, so I contacted the guy, and he's like, I want cash. And I'm like, that's a lot of cash. How am I gonna get this guy cash? So I came up with this scheme, and I contacted Dave Friedman and Rob over at Tone Merchants, And I was like, would you guys help me broker this deal? Like, if I send you guys the cash and this guy comes to the store, will you guys take care of this for me? So they did. And Rob, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I want to give Rob credit for this. So Rob handled the transaction for me, and then we agreed to kind of FedEx it overnight to protect, the headstock and stuff like that. And it came, and I remember I went to FedEx and I opened it in the store because I was so nervous that I was going to get it home with a cracked headstock. But this is such an amazing guitar. I'm a huge Aerosmith fan. So cool story and total leap of faith. Spent way too much money on it, but I now have it. So the Boneyard I found local at a local music store. It's probably my oldest surviving guitar at this point. And it's like a sentimental value because it was like one of the first guitars I got, and it's an early serial too. I think it's like a 33 or a 43. But I got it local at a store in Plainview called All Music, and the owner is now in the group as well. It's like I've collected everyone I've ever come across in the entire world, in the group, which is awesome. So this is the Ivory Peavey. So my friend Peter Guzmano, that's like his #1 baby, and I always loved it whenever I went over his house. I'm like, I gotta find one of these things. But they're really hard to find in really good condition. And one came up, Guitar Center used, and I just snagged it. I was like, I gotta get this thing. All right, so let's move on to the next section of guitars. I took these down. I have a special stand for them. So a lot of people always like, what happened to the Nags? What happened to the Suhrs? I have them. I just can't fit them in one picture. So I have them in different places. So what can I say about these guitars? These are such awesome playing, sounding. Like, they're just amazing instruments. I get very nervous with these type of things because, like, Steve Stevens is a member of the community, Groom Noodlers, and he's been such an awesome guy to me, and he's been such a great member and such a down-to-earth human being. And I didn't want to get his signature guitar and sell it if I didn't like it. And I'm not one of those people who's going to buy something if I'm not actually going to use it. Like, I know people may think that I do that, like, he's going to get the signature guitar because he wants to kiss someone's ass. But I actually really don't like doing that. If I'm not into it, I'm not going to buy it just because I'm going to make someone smile or something. So I kind of, I got the red sparkle from Todd. Thanks, Todd. And I traded him a Suhr. I traded a lot of Suhrs for these guitars. But the red sparkle is such an unbelievable guitar. I mean, I'm not a big kind of Les Paul fan, but there's something about like the angle of the strings and the tension, and it's like they got it perfect. Like, it's like these are such comfortable guitars under the fingers. Obviously, I'm not that kind of player. Like, I'm not like a Doug Rappaport. I can't just like sit there and just play like heaven, I'm just not that kind of guy. But I can enjoy it for what it is, behind closed doors when no one's listening. They do feel and sound that great. They're fantastic instruments, and I know they're pricey, but it's one of those things that, like, you don't need 25 of them, right? I mean, you only need one. So if you could find one and you fall in love with the top, or it's like it's the one that speaks to you, you're gonna feel the value you're gonna feel, how much, how good they are when you get it, and you're gonna be like, all right, they're expensive, but I get it. And listen, honestly, it's like anything right now. If you get something used, there's a lot of value in the used market right now. I mean, you get things almost like 50% at this point. It's pretty crazy, but it's a good time to buy in the used market. I've seen these for $3,000, which is very good compared to some of the other things that we've been seeing lately. In terms of differences, purely aesthetic. So I actually conferred with Peter Wolf before I did this video because I didn't want to embarrass myself. And he told me that basically the guitars are pretty much the same. There's just the aesthetic differences, and that the sparkle has like the engraved, ray guns. And these pickups, which I thought were bare knuckle Rebel Yells, are actually based off of the Mule pickup. So these pickups are really meaty and really big sounding, right? So the Les Pauls kind of have a little bit more of a twang to them. These are meaty guitars, right? Which makes me feel like playing like big riffs, I'm going to do more videos with these things. I'm very precious about some of the things that I own, and I just want to always shine the best light on them. So if I'm going to put something bad out there, I don't want to put something out that's not good. So I will get around to it. I know I wanted to get the Stevens amp as well, so I can kind of couple them with that and have the entire rig. So that I did as well. Okay, I really ranted a lot about these, but these are amazing. So this is my little Sambora section. So I have had a lot of different variations of this type of guitar, but I never had a USA Sambora with the stars. And, you know, as I was kind of like approaching the end of my journey with collecting and finding all these unicorns, I was like, I gotta get this guitar. But what happened was I couldn't find one. So I found a Cherry Burst from Japan, and it's awesome. It's great. I mean, it's definitely more used. It's got a little bit of like a relic feeling to it. But it's a fantastic guitar, and I like the Cherry Burst actually. I like that finish. So like 4 days after I got that guitar, the USA, like it's like literally new old stock. I mean, this thing couldn't be in better condition. Not only that, but it was signed by Richie in '98. I guess before he went on stage, he went to a local guitar store and signed one, and the guy bought it. And I got it for a very good price, actually, considering some of the insane things I've seen on, like, eBay. Like, some guys trying to sell a Star Neck for $50,000. Some of these people are crazy. But anyway, I got a really good price on it. And, you know, I never really spent too much time with the 20 dB boost that's got built into it. But I started playing it this week. And, you know, I was like, you know, fudging around with the Keep the Faith solo. And it definitely is awesome. It's like a little boost pedal within the circuit, and it makes the leads thicker and pop. So, you know, definitely not a novelty, like something very usable actually. And that's my very affordable Ovation. That they still sell these in Guitar Center. You can get them for like $400. They have fantastic Koa veneers. And for the amount of time that I actually play acoustic, you know, it's great. I definitely want a really nice 12-string. I'll get that at some point. All right, guys. So this is the other section where I think people think I've sold some of these things because they're not in the main pick, but I just basically I'm hanging them. So let's start here. So this is Phil X's Yamaha that he signed and passed on, and what can I say about this other than I don't know. I can't even believe I have this guitar in my house, but it's like I told him it's like having like Excalibur or something. You know, I'm like so honored to have it and keep it safe. I'm a huge Bon Jovi fan, and you know, this crazy story which I know you guys have heard, which is that you know when Bon Jovi was filming their first video for the new album. They were filming it at a mansion like 20 minutes from my house, and you know I think there was some just logistics of getting Phil's signature stack to that area, and I live so close by. And the other thing about it is that talk about like total like foresight. When I ordered the amp, they didn't have like a matching cabinet. It was like a custom order. You couldn't get the Phil X matching cabinet. And I told Rob at Tone Merchants, I was like, Rob, I need the matching cab for this because this amp's so cool. It just looks so cool. Like when I saw it at NAMM, I was like, I just love the whole look of it. I was like, I gotta have the matching cab for that. And it turned out like a great decision because, you know, when Phil needed it here, I had the whole thing, you know? So it just all happened in a really cool way. But anyway, I guess the thing with this is that, you know, it's not the type of guitar I would normally play. And I think that's also what makes it really fun is that, you know, you just expand your horizons a bit, and you know, I definitely got to check out the Framus stuff. But yeah, I don't know why I have it, other than the fact that I think he knows that I really value it. That means a lot to me. I'm a huge Bon Jovi fan. I've always been a huge Bon Jovi fan. You know, even in the '90s when they weren't cool, and I got made fun of in college for listening to Always and all that stuff. I just kept strong. I've always loved the band, and now you know I've really gotten into Phil as a player and got all his like you know drill stuff and trying to you know really dive into kind of his area, you know, and more so than just you know his being in Bon Jovi thing like that, because he's obviously an amazing player. All right, so this is the Suhr with the crazy Koa top, which I put the third power mag frag pickups in, and this just transformed. Those pups are just absolutely awesome. I put some videos up where you can tell I was really enjoying myself, and they're just really heavy sounding pickups and lots of sustain, really, really articulate, really happy with them. And I had like the Thornbuckers in here, and with all due respect to Pete, I mean, he knows I play with too much gain as it is. You know, they just weren't my style. I need a little bit more. So I highly recommend those mag frag pickups. They sound awesome. They sound really good. Voyager. So this is my Ibanez Voyager. This is my third Voyager. And the story behind this is that this has this has the Shaler Floyd. So the story behind this doesn't have the Ibanez trim. Story behind this is that Reb went to a clinic in Puerto Rico, and the owner of the store basically said, "You're not leaving the store unless I buy that guitar off you." And now I found it. I got it. So it's awesome. So this is this is kind of like the Boneyard. This is like one of the first guitars in my collection. This was when I was just discovering all the boutique stuff and learning about the Suhr OD100s and all that stuff. So this is kind of like the beginning, right? And this is a solid block of Koa. And I ordered this from Matt's Music, and I told them, I was like, I really want a NAMM-worthy top. I need to have a really sick top. So, you know, I bought this many years ago, and now this guitar, you know, if I ordered it now, it would be double the price based on what's going on right now. So it's, once again, cherished guitar. Then I go into my Suhr Modern area. So this is the Neon Drip, the maple. This is one of my favorite guitars. Every time I pick up this guitar, something cool comes out, like a good riff comes out. And that's where I get drawn to the guitars the most, is like when I feel like I'm playing, you know, something that really represents the type of music I like. Then I have the White Tiger, which doesn't get as much love because I have so many of the same guitars, but I love the matching headstock, and I just love these guitars, and I like having the different fingerboards and stuff like that. This is my Extreme Relic, which gets the most grief on the internet. You know, it gets all the jokes like, oh, did you fall out of your car? Did you drag it this? Did you do that? You know, did you get a discount because it was damaged? I mean, it's like every bad internet joke about relics I've gotten with this guitar. And I can tell you guys, you know what? This guitar is awesome. It's roasted swamp ash. It is like, it weighs nothing. And it's like one of the best playing guitars ever. And I don't care what people say about it. I love it. It's one of my favorites. Definitely top 5. Every time I play it, something cool comes out. And this is the Pink Tiger, which I believe was Peter Joseph's custom order. And I believe this was, what I heard was this was the inspiration for the first run of 80 Shred Tigers, which is pretty cool. This guitar is, I think it was, yeah, it was relic, but it also has some, I think it has some legit like stains, and I think the guy smoked, so it's got some stuff going on in there. But I love this guitar. What's really cool about this is that if you can push-pull to get between the humbucker and the single. I got to restring it. I'm missing a string. And what's cool on the spec, it says, you know, see John or refer to John Suhr for the single. So that's really cool. And it's once again, I got to do legit demos with these things because I have so many awesome things I want to share with you guys. So the last one's a little bit of a wild card, and it's unbelievable guitar. And, you know, it's like, this is where I've changed a lot, right? Because I was like, oh, I'll never play Jackson. I'll never play ESP. I mean, why? I mean, it's a stupid, blind loyalty for no reason, because these guys are making amazing guitars. So this is a Koa top on a mahogany body, and it's got a what they're calling a Seymour Duncan 59 custom hybrid. So it's like two different types of pickups kind of merged into one. And it's got a super slinky shred neck. It sounds absolutely awesome. They're making amazing things. I mean, I'm almost scared to like these because they're making so many I got this from the Axe Palace, and it definitely will not be my last ESP. Spidey, I didn't want to leave Spidey out. So I got this for $100 at a comic convention, and I brought it to Sal, and we put in some DiMarzios. It's like a super distortion, and shit, I forgot what we put in there. All right, guys, so that kind of sums it up for guitars. I promised my wife I'm done. I told her that's it. I got everything I wanted. I got all my unicorns, but that promise usually doesn't end so well. So we'll see what happens next year. I do definitely want to focus on recording and writing and, you know, improving my playing and stuff like that. So let's see how that goes. Anyway, I hope everyone has a happy holiday. I hope everyone has a happy new year. And I really enjoy talking to everyone on the forum and on YouTube and on Instagram. I really enjoy sharing this stuff. And when people get excited, I get excited. And then it's just a really awesome thing. Unfortunately, of course, you guys know, you can't always have a great experience on the internet. But for the most part, I'm really excited that we've gotten all these people together who love the same thing. And I think we all have to remember that, we got to keep this stuff alive. I mean, it's guitar is completely unrepresented in popular music. Rock and roll is not, at the forefront anymore. And as much as people, give me shit for all the 80s metal stuff, at least when 80s metal was big, you heard Bon Jovi on 95.5. You heard Def Leppard on pop radio. And we need bands that appeal to, a broader audience. We need the gateway drug of someone hearing a guitar solo in a pop metal song, and wanting to play, Okay, that's my rant. There's nothing to do with guitars at all. Anyway, all right, let's do amps.